And we're live. Welcome to Lakers Late Night. I am Anthony Irwin. It's a day that ends in Y and the Lakers lost. So joining me on tonight's show is Harrison Fagan. Harrison, how are you holding up? Eventually, the Lakers will win a game that's in question in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I personally hope that they continue to play Kobe down the stretch, no matter what minutes he's at until it happens. I think that that's just really wise. And if you can't tell, I'm being incredibly sarcastic.
Also joining us tonight on the show, we're really pleased to have Sabrina Merchant. How are you doing, Sabrina?
I'm just consoling myself by watching old Kobe versus Toronto YouTube videos.
There
are a lot of
those.
Good ones of those, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good highlights of Kobe against that Raptors team. I guess we'll just dive right into it. I mean, we can try to be smart, we can try to be sarcastic, we can try to be funny, we can try to hug our pillows and our blankets to get us through these tough times. But at the end of the day, you always turn back around, and there's that cross-armed bastard, Byron Scott, looking us right in the face, just being a complete moron again. Sabrina, just pick it off from there, just minus the bastard aspect.
Well, I mean, I think the major takeaway today is, once again, Kobe played the whole fourth quarter, even though there was a double-digit lead in there, and he played 37 minutes, which means he probably won't play against Portland. So, great minutes management, once again, from our fantastic...
Sorry.
The very last game that we watched Kobe play, I made a bet over under one game that well, right now we're pushing, so technically you haven't lost this bet yet, Harrison, but you bet the under.
I am stupid, and you should not take my betting advice. That's all I really have to say. I mean, I don't even know if we can call this a fair bet, because Byron apparently does not understand how math works and thinks that if a player is under their minutes average from last year, then they haven't exceeded that amount of minutes during the year. So if Kobe... And so that makes me wonder, is he counting the games Kobe sits out as 0 and factoring that into the average?
Yeah.
He responded to a question tonight about Kobe's playing too many minutes by saying that he hadn't gone over his minutes limit because he hadn't exceeded his average minutes were not over his average minutes from last year, which is just like, I don't even, like, how do you...
That's the kind of bet that Vegas would take off the board. Like at this point.
Yeah, they wouldn't put it out there to protect everybody else from making a terrible bet. Like that's how that would go. Like don't bet on Byron showing self-control with Kobe Bryant. You know,
well,
that's like betting on me having self-control with a nice frosty beer sitting right in front of me. Like that just doesn't work out very well. Like it's a terrible idea.
Well, and then he followed it up by saying if Kobe misses Sunday, he'll think about reevaluating how he's playing his minutes.
And
you gotta love the results-based process that he has going.
Well, the logic going into this decision, in that, hey, last year Kobe's season was cut short because his body wore down, just like it has the last 3 years. Right, so if you're going to say that, hey, he's playing fewer minutes this year, technically, kind of maybe, but the evaluation is based on a season where Kobe broke down, you should be well underneath that minutes limit, right? Like it shouldn't be close. And right now, as the minutes continue to trend upward, as they try to find what did Byron call it, a breakout win, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as those minutes continue to trend upward, we're going to get closer to that minutes average that Kobe had in a season that he broke down, and that's just not what you want in Kobe's last season. Sabrina, you made the comment that Kobe tried to step behind the line tonight and just couldn't quite get behind there as his I don't know if it's awareness or physical ability or whatever is breaking down. Do you think? I mean, it's the age thing as well, but playing 37 minutes at 40 years old isn't ideal, right, for the human body.
Exactly. I mean, Steph Curry's only playing 35 minutes a game this year. They're like, They're actually trying to win games, right? No, so there was that article on ESPN earlier this week about how Kobe's been breaking down, and Byron Scott just gave this like wonderful quote that was, I always worry about next game during the next game. I don't worry about it while we're playing. So future management is not something he's considering while he's, doling out minutes during the game, which is, you love to hear that.
Don't put Byron in charge of your retirement fund. Anybody. just keep that away from him there. Continue, Sabrina. And sorry to cut you off.
No, it's totally fine. I mean, there are many other things to talk about other than Byron's minutes management with Kobe Bryant.
Speaking of, not just the Kobe thing, I feel like if we talk about the Kobe thing, it's going to continue to be a talking point every single night. Right, like just every night that Kobe plays, it's going to be, hey, Byron can't say no to Kobe. But what I found interesting was it's just another game where the fourth quarter opens and the young guys are on the bench, and it feels like the other team goes on a run. Harrison, you had a pretty damning stat of when D'Angelo Russell was and wasn't on the court.
Okay, so I did not track this myself, but I did see the stat that apparently the Raptors went on a 24-8 run once Russell went to the bench, which I almost accidentally said Warriors because that's the kind of run that the Warriors go on.
Yeah. Stephen Curry, Kyle Lowry is not.
Yeah. Well, the Lakers' backup point guards, defenders, they are not. And so that definitely, or really the Lakers' backups, period, other than Tarek Black and Robert Sacre, who evidently just, do they even wear their uniforms under their warm-ups anymore? You have to wonder.
Sacre hasn't been dressed. I saw him the other night. He hasn't been dressed at all. And then
they have to keep some guys inactive, and I know Sacre has been part of that. But Tarek Black, it would not surprise me if he forgot to put on his jersey under the white. He had an Anthony Davis in the Olympics, and he went to take the warm-up thing off and realized he wasn't wearing a shirt and had to run back to the locker room.
Or he just had an F. Byron shirt on underneath. Like, that would have been great, too. Hey, Byron, I'm still here. Well, that's a perfect segue, though. The issue that and all right, full disclosure, I, right about midway through the fourth quarter, got caught up in a Dodgers rumor because it wouldn't be a Friday during the Dodgers offseason where some stupid rumor didn't come up. But I looked down to write the article, looked back up, the Lakers were down 14. And before the show, I asked both Sabrina and Harrison what was going on, and both of you guys said defense. Sabrina, you pointed specifically to the lack of rim protection. I won't bring up the joke I made off the air. But Brandon Bass keeps playing at the 5, and I have no idea why.
To be fair, this one wasn't entirely on him because the Raptors were just hitting unconscious levels from beyond the arc. They just could not miss from 3. I mean, it's an entire defensive effort, but we can't blame this one entirely on Brandon today.
Today.
Yeah.
Harrison, what are you kind of noticing from, or you were the one who you got here a little before Sabrina, and you said defense to a certain extent too. What were you seeing? Where were the holes that the Raptors were taking advantage of?
I mean, you could just basically consider the Lakers' entire defense a whole when the bench is on the court. It's so bad. Their strategy apparently is, all right, we're going to take out all the starters at once. We're going to put in a bunch of bench guys, and then they're going to play no defense, and so they're going to allow layups and threes, and then just try and respond with contested 18-footers. And Lou Williams chucking things up, trying to draw fouls.
He was so bad about that today.
It's actually Mike Trudell had an interesting note. I think it was either in the first quarter or it was before the game, and he had talked to Lou about drawing fouls and his skill level at that. And Williams said that this season he's tried to, when he's going up for if he sees a guy's arm up, he tries to get his arm into the other guy's arm while shooting. So it's less of an actual shot, and it's more if he's just trying to ram his arm into the guy and throw the ball up. And so, shockingly, that's affected his percentages when he doesn't get the foul call.
Well, maybe Toronto was just more used to his antics, him having played there last year. They were better equipped to defend it.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. I mean, you get some of that familiarity going on, right?
And Toronto's
Yeah.
really good at drawing fouls too. I mean, DeRozan's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Right.
Lou Williams teaching them all his secrets really came back to haunt us tonight.
Those cagey Canadians. Um, not that I think only like 2 or 3 of those guys are actually from Canada, but whatever. They were named after Jurassic Park. Uh, all right. The way this season is probably going to go, it seems like, is a whole bunch of losing, and you kind of have to find the silver linings as we're going along. And my major criticism from a development standpoint and from a consistent criticism is that it's felt like, between the Lakers trio of young pieces, your turn, your turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, your turn, my turn. And, maybe one guy will have a really good game, another guy will have a decent game, and the other guy won't be there. Tonight, Harrison felt like the first time that all 3 guys had a pretty good game together.
Yeah, I think it was definitely the best trio effort. It was the best it was the best that they had all played at the same time. Mm-hmm. Randall had 18 and 12, like a really efficient 18 and 12. He shot 6 of 9, went 6 of 6 from the line. Which I think is probably the first time he hasn't missed a free throw this year too, because his free throw shooting has not been great.
No.
And Jordan Clarkson, 6 of 13 for 13 points. D'Angelo Russell might have had his best game of the year, which is good to see in a game when the other 2 guys played well as well. And like I gave you that 24-8 run when he came out of the game stat, and I would argue that probably has almost as much to do with Hibbert as anything Russell was doing. But the offense did look better with him out there tonight. And he had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was good.
Yeah, I mean the 2 assist number is a little low, but it feels like, from the game that I was watching, or for the parts of the game, and I watched the vast majority of it. I just had to look away for 5 minutes or so. I looked back and the Lakers were getting killed, but for most of the game they were running through Kobe at the pinch post, the elbow ish, having him kind of distribute from there, which is kind of effective for stretches. And I think that's why you're seeing the D'Angelo Russell 2 assist total. Sabrina, was there anything that you saw from those 3 that made them, more effective tonight than in nights past collectively?
D'Angelo was the most aggressive I've seen him looking to score today. I mean, as opposed to passing, because like you said, the offense was kind of running not entirely through him, but somewhat through Kobe. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why the assist numbers are so low. But he looked like he was trying to get his shot off more often and more aggressively, which is nice to see. Mm-hmm. And Randall, as always, in transition is just my favorite thing on this Lakers team.
Yeah. When he gets
especially when he drives in transition and he has to finish a layup with his left hand on the right side of the basket. That's classic Randall.
It almost kind of feels like he just he's going towards the right side and he's like, dang it, I went this way again. He just kind of flips it up there that way. I would agree that at the end of the last game that they played, we saw Russell go back into the game. It was garbage time, and he went in there with more of an effort mode. More of a, screw the offense. I'm just going to go out here and play basketball kind of mentality. And that was something that we noticed, right, Harrison? And we saw that from Randall. And then tonight you see Russell aggressive again today. I know this is a lot to ask for, but do you think it's possible that the coaches are noticing that the best these guys are playing is when they're telling the offense to F off?
No chance. He's showing fire. So I think, yeah, it's like they're just gonna say he's being aggressive and he's doing what he has to do to score the basketball. But yeah, I mean, even Kobe is calling for ball movement in his press conference right now, which he even said, "I never thought I'd see the day where I'm the voice asking for more ball movement."
Actually, I beg to differ, Kobe. You've always asked for ball movement so long as it ends with you at the end of the shot clock. Like, it's not, hey, the ball needs to move more. So long as it comes back to me, I'll move the ball, but get it back.
I move it when I'm dribbling.
Oh man.
No, I think part of the reason, and Sabrina, you made the note. I had the show with Shahan. Hey, Shahan, I got your name right that time. Make a note. But
Semi-try.
I got it right for 99% of the show today. All right, but uh, when I have the guests on, the note that that I have, or Sabrina, you said it, Harrison, you said it a couple times. I've got it back to me a couple times too, calling me a sellout when I talk to those guys.
I didn't call you a sellout.
No. I've gotten it from other people. Like
Oh.
I've actually gotten that criticism. Is that I'm a lot more gathered in those shows, right? That I'm more willing to hear that side of the story. And when I was talking to Shahan today, he was a lot more cognizant of the perception from the team looking outward, right? And the perception of the team looking outward. And I feel like while the Lakers lost tonight, is it safe to assume that the team calls this a step in the right direction for those three, Sabrina?
I mean, a lot to be desired from this team. I wouldn't call that a step forward at all.
Sabrina, can you
sorry,
repeat that? We
yeah,
lost
go ahead and repeat that. We lost you.
Oh, so I mean, I think it was a step forward offensively, but defensively, that was a train wreck for a lot of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And understandably, Toronto's a good offensive team. We've talked about how, opposing point guards just have career nights against the Lakers every single time that they play. I mean, I think Kyle Lowry set a career high on three-pointers made today. So, I mean, yeah, defensively, I haven't seen enough to make me happy with Byron on that end of the floor yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it a step forward for Byron, but Harrison, how about for those three together, the three guys that the Lakers really desperately need to develop this season?
Yeah, I definitely thought it was a step forward to see all, like we said, it was the first time that we saw all three of them play well at the same time. And so that's the kind of thing that if the Lakers are going to be good at some point with these three, they're going to have to do that consistently. It's not going to always be able to be my turn, your turn, unless one of them turns into like a transcendent superstar. And even then, it's still difficult and you need help. So, but I do think that seeing all of them play well together, and especially seeing D'Angelo play this well tonight, and that almost being the Kickstarter for the other two playing well at the same time, is very encouraging to me, more so than anything. So even though he didn't have a tremendous amount of assists, I would imagine that, you see him get guys the ball in the right spots. And so maybe they're making their own move, but he's making sure that he's organizing the offense and he's getting guys enough touches to get theirs. And I think Clarkson and Randall both definitely had that tonight.
Definitely. So while it sucks to lose any game, it's something that, unfortunately for Lakers fans, we're kind of used to. It's just finding those silver linings. And tonight, I would say that there was something to kind of build on moving forward. Now, whether Lord Byron might be able to build on that, shrug emoji. You never know. So this brings us to my favorite part of the show, where Harrison, you dive through the Twitterverses and find Byron's quotes after the game. We already talked a little bit about how he's managing Kobe's minutes, or the lack thereof. But were there any nuggets that you were able to find elsewhere?
The only nugget that I saw after the game, because we addressed quite a few of them on the air, was Kobe said that he feels fine. So he said the rest and weight training this week have helped him, I guess. But he wasn't saying that he could barely walk to his car, so I guess that's progress.
That's good. He gets to go home. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that just about does it on my end. Sabrina, Harrison, anything? Any last second notes that you guys want to hammer? It's the Lakers. So teams. I'm the host. I'm the Lakers point guard. You guys get to score on me at the end of the quarter here. Anything that you guys want to hammer before we go off the air?
I thoroughly enjoyed the guy's shirt courtside, the one who was sitting in Nicholson's seat. His sweater just said, "I'm not Jack."
I didn't even notice that, but that's hilarious.
Oh, man. That needs to get up there on SB Nation tonight. That needs to go on Silver Screen and Roll tonight.
I need to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also finally saw Nance's Arrow celebration for the first time today. It's pretty cool.
Oh, There you go.
The one thing that I noticed from bench watching during during the game was Roy Hibbert during that run when the Lakers were just giving up basket after basket. And I posted a little short form about this. You can see it on Silver Screen and Roll. He lost it after not DeMar DeRozan. DeMar Carroll got a putback on the break. And Roy Hibbert got up out of his seat and threw 2 towels on the ground while yelling. And so he clearly is not super thrilled about the Lakers' defense and wants to be out there. This was early in the fourth quarter, and he's really the team's only good defender, and it really shows when he's out of the game. And he I think understands that a lot. And so it's good to see him still taking ownership and trying to get everyone to compete, even when he's not on the floor.
And even more to that point, it's really good to see him take, personal offense when the Lakers aren't playing well defensively, right?
Yeah.
Where as a leader, he's saying, like, look, I might not be on the court, but there's no way we can be that much worse when I'm not there,
Yeah.
and that he cares enough to show that kind of emotion on the sideline. That was a really good note, Harrison. Good job.
For someone who took a lot of criticism in Indiana, and especially even from some of the beat writers, I'm not going to name names, but was basically kicked on his way out for being aloof, for not caring enough, whatever. I got to say, I haven't seen any of that since he got to the Lakers. So you really have to give Roy a lot of credit because the Lakers have been terrible, and he's still all in. He's not checking out at all yet.
Yeah, that's really cool to see. So just really briefly, I guess I'd be remiss not to talk about some of the stats. We talked about Randall's night, Clarkson and Russell's night. Kobe goes 5 of 13, 0 of 5 from 3 again. I'm not sure if that'll get much better. Well, I guess it'll get better than not making any. Opposing team, point guard goes off, Kyle Lowry, 25, 5, and 5 with 3 steals. So get used to point guards going off against the Lakers. Any of you who play daily fantasy sports out there, even though it's definitely gambling and should be possibly illegal, play the point guard who's playing the Lakers while you still can, because that's a trend that's going to continue throughout the year.
I want to say, Lakers late night. Come for the basketball analysis. Stay for Anthony Irwin's legal analysis.
Yeah. Yep. When it comes to morality,
we're gonna have to bring Ben back on, and you guys can just talk about various legal cases.
We can call that segment what is it? Rosales v. Irwin.
Oh my god.
All right, on that note.
Good pun there.
I can't do it. I can't. Honestly, my puns have been pretty weak this season. I gotta spend less time on the Dodgers. Baseball fans are really. Well, I won't say anything. Anyway, I want to thank Sabrina. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you for sticking through these terrible Lakers games. Anything that you're working on for Silver Screen and Roll in the next, day, week, or whatever?
Not much right now.
Yeah, there isn't much to work on. Harrison, thank you very much for hopping on again, the consistent co-host. Anything that you're working on in specifics? You had the fiery Byron, and then you had the fiery Byron analysis.
I did have a somewhat hot Byron take earlier this week about how he needs to stop he needs to admit his own rotation mistakes if he's going to start asking guys to man up, because that's not the real issue. And then I also had, that I'm pretty proud of, stats breakdown of Emmanuel Mudiay and D'Angelo Russell's start to the seasons, and comparing them and using context and that kind of thing, because I feel like there's this narrative that Moutier's been so much better than Russell, and when you look at the context, he really has. If he's been better, it's not by much.
Yeah, I saw tonight that Okafor went 3 for 17 in a game earlier this season. So
he's a bust. Good thing the Lakers didn't draft him.
Yeah, let's pump the brakes on that whole narrative about how the Lakers should not have taken Russell so far. We're now 12 games in.
Didn't you know everyone taken after Russell has not had a bad game the entire year?
Porzingis though.
They're all Hall of Famers, each and every one of them. All right, well, on that, I am Anthony Irwin. This was Lakers Late Night. Make sure to check out the Shahan Ahmed with or Lakers Lounge show that we that released today on iTunes. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's been a lot of good stuff. I just happen to be here. The guests have been phenomenal, just like Sabrina signing on tonight. Harrison bringing the nuggets from the Twitterverse as well. I'm just here to not get fined. Thanks, everybody.